motto?
Yes, well I thought that's me now, been in the school for a year, and before I had come they had looked at looking at the values of the school and revisiting, what is the school about, what is Hawick High School about, what's important to us as a school. So the school motto to begin with I think was called Forever Independent, and for me I needed something that was more sort of meaningful towards the school community. So we did a consultation with all the pupils. We had the 5th and 6th year, and we started with them asking them about what kind of values are really important to them and what they think is really important to the school in general. And they selected their values. They then led workshops with all the 1st to 4th year, who then selected what their values were. They discussed it, what they really meant, these values, and what was really most important to them. So we sort of taken all the feedback from all the pupils. We then did the same with staff and with a group of parents. And the 4 key values that came through that everybody sort of agreed the most important ones to the school were determination, ambition, respect and effort. So we went from there and had taken that on to say, right, these are our values now, let's make a kind of big statement, what's really important to the school, in the big sense of the word. So a number of the pupils had taken on the 4 values and spelled out DARE. And when we really looked at that with them, DARE really meant to challenge, and that was important because we want pupils to challenge themselves to do, exceed what they do in the best they can. We also want to challenge staff to be making sure that they're the best teachers they possibly can be and provide the best education for the pupils. So as a school I think that was it, and we want to challenge parents to make sure that they wanted their young people to be excelling at anything that they wanted to excel at. So we thought that DARE really fitted, and then when we spoke to the pupils, they came up with the motto in various kind of guises, but we mixed them together and we came up with DARE to dream, DARE to succeed. And again that really fits, I think, for Hawick High School, because we want the pupils to dream. We don't want them to just fit into a box. We don't want them to think, I'm from Hawick and I should be doing a certain thing, or I'm at this level at school and I should be just doing this one job. We want them to think big, and the world's their oyster, so whatever they want to do, we want them to do it. So DARE to dream fits with that. And the DARE to succeed bit is put yourself out there, don't be scared to fail. To succeed you have to achieve in lots of different things to get where you want to go. So you have that dream and you do what you need to do to achieve that dream, and as a school we'll be doing everything we can to make sure that all our pupils get there and fulfil their dreams if that's what they want. So I think it fits really well. I think it's an excellent motto, and I think something that we're going to be proud of, in the future years to come. So.
The badge has also changed. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so we thought in time with developing the school motto that we would want, this is our sort of brand now, this is what we are as Hawick High School community, and we sort of wanted to make sure that everybody knew what our school motto was, and what better way than having it on our badge, that we're going to display, whether it's on our uniform, in our website, in our note paper, anything that we put out, to the public, to the parents, staff, everything's going to have our high school motto, so it's important that we get it right. So we had a group of 2nd year pupils design the badge and the motto, and we also they did this in art department, and then they worked with the technical department to look at the graphics, and they came up with a design, 4 different designs, and we then put that out to all the pupils at each assembly, S1 to S4, and at a staff meeting as well, to pick the design that they thought was best. So we went through all that consultation, so we've now got our final logo with the school motto, DARE to dream, DARE to succeed on it, and we'll be showing that at next assemblies that are coming up at the start of next term. I think it'll be a nice opportunity though. I'll share it with the Hawick High News so you get your exclusive, and you can post that on the website.
Do you plan on making any more adjustments to the school uniform policy?
Yes, I think I have to say that the school uniform, I have to remind, you know, pupils and parents and staff at times why it's really important, because, you know, people will ask, well, that's not, uniform doesn't help pass your exams, right? But you know that school is way more than just passing your exams and your academic progress. It's about developing your personality, your skills, you know, how you work with people and for people, how you present yourself as well, and just having that kind of sense of togetherness and community. I think being able to work together as a massive big team as a school. So I think the uniform for me is really important for giving us a sense of identity. And if our pupils are coming in very smart, that's telling us they're here, they mean business, they're very proud to be at the school, and they're committing themselves to that. I think also the bigger thing for me is having it as what we call a social leveller, so that every young person in the school will come in with the same uniform, so there's no pressure in having the right clothes, the right designer outfits, anything like that. So I think the uniform is really important. Now, the comments from the community have been that it's been really good. You know, they're quite proud of our young people and saying how smart they look and how they're presenting themselves as well. And we have to keep building on that. I think what I would like to see is a more consistent uniform, so we have a lot of our young people buying into this, and there's a small group who maybe want to challenge it, or they only wear little bits of the uniform and try to push some of their fashion items, which, you know, we want people to be individual, but when they're in school we have a standard and we want them to meet that standard. So I think we would just want it to be more consistent. I won't be looking to be making any more changes. What the next step about moving away from the sort of designer and pressure is, and bringing in our sort of new school motto and logo, we've linked with a company in the local community, and they are designing uniform for us, so that it'll be like a one-stop shop. We'll have our own website, parents can sign into the website, they can pick their uniform with their children, and then that gets delivered to the school for them to collect. So it's a lot less pressure. We have a number of pupils from our pupil council, myself, Mr Lee is our business manager, working with this company. So the pupils are going to help design the jumpers or the cardigans, whatever it is that we are developing, how it fits with the logo and how that comes onto the jumpers or the cardigans, and if it's going to be trousers, skirts, you know, so it's a one-stop shop. They are the ones who are going to pick that. They are negotiating in terms of price and cost as well with the company, which I think is great. And they've also decided to make sure that we are letting all the pupils have a say in this, that they're going to do a fashion show. So looking forward to that. And they're going to have an assembly, and they're going to launch the sort of new brand, the uniform that they've helped design with the local company. I spoke to the assemblies and I let them know this was a plan, and I would say about 70% of the pupils agreed this was a good idea, but a lot of them say they still would like the choice. You know, they shouldn't feel forced that they have to go to this one place for the uniform, which I've accepted, I agree. So we've given them this option, but if pupils want to buy their uniform in other outlets or whatever, then we're happy with that, as long as it's still the standard, consistent uniform.
Are there any other changes that the pupils should be expecting?
In terms of just general changes,
Yeah.
I think the only things that I would like to see now, the changes are from what we've discussed at Pupil Council. I think some of the social space that the pupils, you know, we struggle with social space, and I think our young people do really well in the tight, kind of confined space that they have within the school to socialise, hang out, you know, during breaks and at lunchtime. So we're looking at a couple of areas in the building where we could try and knock down one or two walls, cut back some hedges, put some roofing over, which we think will generate a good social space for a number of the pupils. So that's definitely one area. Having even just a nicer sort of surround to hang out in. So in the front area at the roads, where we're going to develop more benches and have more kind of like a picnic areas for the pupils, especially when the weather's nice. because they seem to like that, and it's a nice social experience for them. We're looking at one or two of the garden areas as well, which we're going to trim back and have as potential social areas for the senior pupils, which will then generate more social space around the school for the younger ones. So that's one of the kind of big changes. Other changes I would like to see, there'll be more technology coming into the classroom. We're very committed to trying to keep up to date with all the technology that's out there, and how we use that, and how we try and make how you learn within the classrooms and how we teach more geared towards technology, so that when you're going outside school or going into university or jobs or whatever, then you have the skills to adapt to all the changes in technology, which is changing every year. So I think you'll see a change there, that will be more focused on using technology within the classroom. Not saying that that's the be all and end all, but that'll definitely be part of your sort of learning experiences in the class. I think in general we would just like to make sure the changes that are happening is that we're learning better. You know, staff are continually working really hard during their Friday afternoons. They work together as departments, as a whole school, to keep supporting each other, developing how they teach you as well. They're very, very committed to that, and I think you'll see that changing all the time. I think you'll see that you'll be asked a lot more, pupils will be asked a lot more about how they learn and how they feel they're learning and how they're being taught, so there'll be a lot more discussions with pupils, which I think you've seen this year. We've had we'll have 4 pupil voice weeks, and we've got a really strong pupil council, so I think you'll see that pupils will be listened to even more, and that we'll action what they say. And I'll give you one example. Through the pupil council recently, we talked about how we can make the dining experience in the canteen better. I have had a meeting with the head of the canteen and the head of the canteen service locally. So we've discussed ways that we can improve. So we're listening to what the pupils are saying, and we're putting that into action. So.
How do you plan to keep the school up to date with the latest technology?
Okay, well, I've sort of mentioned it earlier in terms of that you'll see that a lot more happening within the school. To be a bit more specific, we have what we call improvement teams in the school. So again, this is our staff who meet after school and commit their time to work in teams to try and look at areas that we can improve the school as a whole. And we have a number of improvement teams, but one of them is well established. It's called the Switched On Learning Group, and that has a member of staff from every department who is looking at specifically technology and how we use technology to enhance what we do in the school, to enhance how we teach our young people and how you learn. So they are looking at a strategy in terms of how we develop iPads and how we develop the use of iPads within the school. So on February, they are running it was called an Inset Day, and they're training all staff in terms of the use of iPad and how that can really help in terms of the types of learning that goes on in the classroom, how you're being assessed. You know, simple things like being able to just quickly take a photo, take a film of a project or a piece of work or a presentation from a young person, and then how are we then going to develop the young people's skills in using that themselves within the classroom. We've had a pilot, which you'll all be aware of, in social subjects now for the last 2 years, and they've had lots of experience now at how they use iPads in the teaching and learning, and they'll be the ones delivering these workshops in the Inset Day, using all their experience and hopefully generating real excitement with staff about the potential for the future. In terms of bigger than that, we're looking at sort of what we call the infrastructure. So we have Wi-Fi now around the school, so we'll be encouraging more use of smartphones but being used appropriately, developing and fundraising in terms of building up the opportunity for every pupil within the school to have an iPad each, so that they take home and bring back to school. So that's our long-term plan, and we'll keep working with the young people, because you guys are way ahead of us in terms of technology and how it's to be used. So we'll again be speaking to yourselves to say, look, what's out there, what really works, and what helps you learn better, and what's going to prepare you for the big world. You know, because a lot of the jobs, we keep saying we're preparing you guys for jobs that don't even exist just now. So, but technology is going to be a major player in that. So we need to prepare you and get you developing the skills. So yeah, I'm very committed to developing technology with the pupils and the staff. So.
Thanks very much for your time.
That was a pleasure. Thank you.